Hey y'all, what's up? It's your main man Killah B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'm burning their asses up, and I'll be right back.
True talk, I recognize true talk, I never lie. The second I'm proved wrong is the day the devil will cool off in temperature. And hell, it be lukewarm, my temper is short like your attention span. Can't quite remember what you were offended at. My parents have no idea that I made a new friend in my detention class. His name is Tuesday, and he claims to be the Justin Timberlake of rap, bringing tension back. Heaven didn't take him, God sent his ass straight to hell. Satan said hell, no one sent him back. Took a selfie of himself and basked as he swelters in a smelly bathroom, as he's joking with the sweaty hand because it's healthy. Biatch, looky here, I'm not your friend and I'm not your bro. I'm not hip rock and roll, I'm just pissed off. I don't even like music, how'd I end up on this song? Looky here, I'm not your friend and I'm not your bro. I'm not hip hop or rock and roll, I'm just pissed off. I don't even like this song. Tell Ronald Reagan and trickle down, the economy's got a shiny new nickel is what I found in this foggy weather. Pardon me, mister, but I don't want to start any problems. You just stood aside first. Yeah, you that call me that palm that don't act like I didn't watch it. Just pick it up with your sausage fingers and toss it right in your jockey's written rich pocket. I'm talking to you, you money grubbing cocksucker. Go squat and sniff a whiff from under cheese from my boxers. These underbriefs have been wafted for months or weeks. I've been wanting to shop for laundry detergent for fucking weeks. For some strange reason, the MasterCard is maxed out and the Magna strip on my Visa. It hasn't been functioning. How convenient, I'm measly 5 cents short of completing this transaction. I'm asking the cashier to be lenient. I'd appreciate decency and compassion. I'll pay you back during tax season. Capiche, at least half of it. Looky here, I'm not your friend and I'm not your bro. I'm not hip-hop or rock and roll. I'm just pissed off. I don't even like music, how'd I end up on this song? Looky here, I'm not your friend and I'm not your bro. I'm not hip-hop or rock and roll, I'm just pissed off. I don't even like this song. I guess I'll bury the hatchet. A person who holds a grudge isn't very attractive. And while I'm at it, bury those axes along with the bodies that belong to the cash register clerks after. Playing AC/DC backwards on a highway to hell, driving in reverse, riding with pastors. Peter Popoff and Jimmy Swagger are fighting over some passage you can't find, cause his Bible is missing chapters. Listen, bastards, if you two don't pipe down, I'ma turn his car around or move the shift to drive right now. And don't think I'm not gonna find out who it was that took my coloring book and painted Black Jesus with white out. I dropped Joel Osteen off at the Antichrist's house and told him to wipe that smile off of his giant mouth for 5 minutes, then try frowning for 9 hours. And this is how I rise to my power. Looky here, I'm not your friend and I'm not your bro. I'm not hip-hop or rock and roll, I'm just pissed off. I don't even like music, how'd I end up on this song? Looky here, I'm not your friend and I'm not your bro. I'm not hip-hop or rock and roll, I'm just pissed off. I don't even like this song.
Man, it's your boy Killah B, the goddamn Witchfinder General, goddamn it. Back at your asses again. Live. What's going on, Tweez Lamar? It's that nigga Springfield. What up, hey Rue? Yo, call me on Facebook. I'll put you on up in here. You got a good one tonight, man. You gotta get your ass on up in here. So hit me up on Facebook. All you gotta do is call me on Facebook. Put you right in. Yeah, so we got a good one. We had a good one this afternoon. For those of you that missed that one, you definitely should want to go back and check that out. That was some bomb shit we did this afternoon. So got into some good stuff. Because to find out that the guy that did the Monte stabbing, he was found with Black Hebrew Israelite literature and writings and stuff like that in his home. So once again, Black Hebrew Israelites strikes again. Back on your ass again. I told y'all niggas they coming to get y'all, yo. Coming to get y'all. Sweets Lamar chilling. Yeah. I feel you. Man, shit. We got a good one for y'all today. I get my shit in order here. I'm always fucking up something. It can never be regular. You know how it is. Hey, that's bullshit. Okay, I'm alright. Got here. So I got some news I want to go over first. We're gonna get into this subject here: British Israelism, the grandfather of the Hebrew Israelite movement. So we're gonna get into that shit. We can see where all this cult, Hebrew Israelite cult bullshit come out of. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna smash them. We're gonna bash, and we're gonna burn, and we're gonna thrash. We're gonna do all of that and shit tonight. And we also gonna ask people who's the Israelite. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start it off tonight with Colonel Sanders was an Israelite. What's up, Samia? Yep, Colonel Sanders was an Israelite. Who else was it? I had somebody else that was an Israelite. I forgot. I'll be back at y'all asses. Oh shit, we got 5 in the room. Got 6 in the room. Oh shit. Yo, just hit that goddamn like button, goddamn it. Wipe your goddamn feet when you come up in this house. Cause I don't want none of that bullshit up in here tonight. God damn it. We gonna be live and direct. So I know some of you, have any of you viewers out there heard of William Cooper? So we're gonna let William Cooper tell us a little bit about the British Israelite movement. And what we'll see. Let me start off by saying William Cooper, for those of you who don't know, he was a American. I'm gonna read his bio. Going off the top of the dome. Keep breaking my mouth. God damn, always some shit. Always some shit. See, the Most High cursing him. He put a demon out of his mouth. He put a demon out of his mouth. Most High go get him. Alright. Milton William Cooper. William Cooper was an American conspiracy theorist, radio broadcaster, and author, best known for his 1991 book, Behold the Pale Horse, in which he warned of multiple global conspiracies, some involving extraterrestrial life. I know most of you people have heard of Behold the Pale Horse, and I didn't know it was written in 1991. I thought it was an older book when I brought it. I think I brought that book in 1991. That was a long ass time ago. Behold the Pale Horse. You got it talking about the alien involvement and all that bullshit. Illuminati and all the motherfuckers and shit. They're gonna take over the world, one world government and all that stuff. It's a cool book to read and shit for all you conspiracy theorists nuts. Right? Nothing wrong with reading that stuff if you like it. You know what I mean? That's just like WWE. It's like wrestling. You know what I mean? Shit, entertainment. But he's gonna tell us tonight a little bit about this group. So conspiracy theorists and stuff. But this is the white man, so the white man gonna confirm this shit tonight. some of y'all stuff don't say y'all don't listen to this white man come through and confirm it. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna have the white man confirm that shit. So let's see, got anybody up in there? Confo Yahoo. What's up, dude? Peace Hotel. Yup. Yeah, but hold a pale horse. You remember that? That was a good seller. That was a really good seller. Okay, I'm back on. Shit, let me close some of these goddamn shit. Gonna get William Cooper and have him explain a lot of this stuff to us. We're gonna look into the British Israelism Church and their beliefs. There. Yeah, so I want to get into this news first. Seems to be a problem with extremist cops. The article's a little long. I'm going to do a whole nother video on that. Seems like they said somebody smashed a table over the stabber, the Mossy stabber guy's face. Yeah, this is what I want. Just real quick, did I go into the whole thing? Anybody want to get on? Just let me know in the chat. Send me a Skype link, or you can hit me up on Facebook. Do a Facebook call. Okay. Man. You know, I did that story the other day on those cadets that supposedly held up a white supremacist hand sign. And it came to find out that it was just a game called the. I used to play the shit myself. The damn, what they call that shit? The looking game. The looking game. Hey P, what's up? I was just about to hit you up. It seems that these cadets made a picture, took a photograph, holding up like the Hail Hitler, the Nazi Germany salute. These are U.S. cadets, right? Now we're gonna find something interesting. And we're gonna see how they judge this matter, right? And I totally agree with it. I totally agree with it. I see both sides of the story, but I agree with it, right? I agree with the outcome. Now, West Virginia correctional cadets who gave Nazi salute and photo will all be fired. Now we must continue to move forward and work diligently to make sure nothing like this ever happens. Governor Jim Justice said in the statement. Right? West Virginia Governor Jim Justice said Monday he has approved the recommendations from a report calling for the firing of all correctional officer cadets. Correctional officer cadets who participated in a Nazi salute during a class photo. Yeah, this is for corrections. I thought this was military. Right? See this picture, right? You guys notice anything in this picture? It's hard to spot. But I just want to see real quick. Do you notice anything? Got Hail Bird at the top. So you know the salute has some, like, you know what I mean, like the Nazi Germany theme to it, right? Does anybody know? Okay. Everybody speak at once. All right. So actually I have a little delay. See if you guys get it. You guys see anything? Screen. It's still hard to see because how they blurred out the face. All right. Right? You're showing off. If you look real close, there's black people in there also. There's a black hand right there in the top left hand corner. That looks like a black person in the bottom left hand corner. Also, that might be a white man. Sitting on the right side. Look like a couple of black people in the middle. Right? Now, what it says is, photo of basic training class 18, released by the State Department of Military Affairs and Public Safety on December 5th, in which employees' faces blurred show about 30 uninformed trainees posing with their right hands raised, most of them with their hands also extended. The words Hail Bird also appeared at the top of the image. 3 people, 2 academy trainers and cadets were fired today after the photo was released and 34 others suspended without pay amid the investigation by the Department of Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation. According to the investigation summary, the use of the gesture began 2 to 3 weeks into training as one that the cadets have described as a sign of respect for an individual identified as Instructor Beard. Bird, whatever, told investigators she was unaware of the historical or racial implications of the gesture. It reported it was simply a greeting, according to the report, but her statement was contradicted by multiple sources. The report released Monday says. The investigation disclosed that she encouraged it, revealed in it, and at times reciprocated the gesture, the report states. Additionally, Bird appeared to overrule the corrective actions taken by others and ensured the cadets the behavior was acceptable. The class photos included Hail Bird picture, referred to a member of the secretarial staff as is standard procedure. The secretary reported asking Bird, "What are you all doing in the picture?" Bird told her, "There is nothing wrong with it. We have people of all colors and backgrounds in the pictures, and every one of them are participating." The secretary stated that Bird directed her to caption the picture Hail Bird according to the report, and told secretary the students say that because I'm a hard ass like Hitler, right? So basically, they made this picture, people got wind of it, and now I agree why they should have been fired and like without pay, right? Because it's in bad taste. Like you could have a group of people like these people, you can see they're probably all ethnicities and stuff like that, and it probably wasn't a Jewish person, right? Or they could have been, you know what I mean? And they just made fun of this instructor, like for being a hard ass, like that mother. She like motherfucking Hitler. You know what I mean? So like she's been known to all the people in the class as Hitler. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like people joke around and stuff like that. It's harmless, like, but it's not harmless to somebody that it hurts. You know what I mean? To somebody that offends. So within an environment like that, those type of things should not be presented or anything like that. Say like in the workplace, in the school system. If you want to joke around and stuff like that, you do that outside of school with the students. But this was like an official school picture. That's great. And you see this lady right here, a couple people wouldn't do it. A couple people put up a fist. You see the fourth one over from the left on the bottom has a fist. The lady on the left, bottom left, she has a fist. The lady on the right over here, she's full extended. Dude dead center at the top look like he got like a peace sign up. You got this person over here, a couple more over to the left has a fist. Look like somebody over here to the top right might have like, you know what I mean, like the Hail Satan sign or whatever. This black person, whoever dark skinned person over here, they straight up here. But you see how some people might have been offended and didn't want to take that picture. You know what I mean? They might have joked in class, but it was something else to take that picture. And you can see like they might have been uncomfortable with taking it by the way their hands are. I ain't got no sound. How's my sound? Wait. How's my sound now? All right. What about my sound now? Nice and loud now? Too loud. Not too loud? Now you hear? Okay. What up, hey Rue? You want to come on? All right, I'm going to harass your ass now. Harass you down. Call you up. What up? What up? What up?
Meeting a break.
Hello?
What's up, man?
What up? What up? What up? What's happening?
Not much.
You live on the goddamn Witchfinder General show.
You what? I just clicked on that after to see you talking about the British Hebrew Israelites.
Yep. Yep. You
Something
live
like that?
now. You live on the show right
Is that
now.
where it started?
Did you hear me? You live on the show right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm live. I'm live.
Yeah, so we're going to get into tonight how the British Israelites are basically like the foundation of the Black Hebrew. Like their whole...
Okay. You
Huh?
give me the link, then I can come on instead of being on my
This
phone.
is the link now. You live now. Like you on now. It's going
But I
right
can't
through
see.
the...
I'm on my phone.
Yeah, I'm using the Facebook.
okay.
Yeah, so you live. Everybody can hear you now. Yeah, I don't have to use like thing. I just use this. And they can hear you. This as well, just like if you were on anything else.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we're gonna get into that shit. Yeah, I was just done with that article about those cadets and stuff that was fired for doing that Hail Hitler sign. I believe some of them was a little uncomfortable with that. They asked them to be fired. It's just really, I'm gonna get to this video here. We do commentary on this bad boy. First, I want to talk about the British Israelites. Check this out. Now, I'm gonna show tonight that they're the same shit. I'm not gonna read all this. They're the same thing as the Black Hebrew Israelites. They're a cult. They're a cult with pseudo scholarship. Check this out. It says British Israelism, also called Anglo-Israelism, is a pseudo-archaeological belief that the people of the British Isles are genetically, racially, and linguistically the direct descendants of the 10 lost tribes of ancient Israel. With roots in the 16th century, British Israelism was inspired by several 19th century English writings such as John Wilson, 1840, Our Israelitish Origin. Various British Israelite organizations were set up throughout the British Empire, as well as in America, from the 1870s. A number of these organizations are active independently as of the early 21st century. In America, the idea gave rise to the Christian identity movement, which is Christian identity is a racist, anti-Semitic, and white supremacist interpretation of Christianity, which holds that only Germanic, Anglo-Saxon, Celtic, Nordish, Aryan people, and those of kindred blood are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and hence the descendants of the ancient Israelites. Hey, bro? You hear me, Hebrew?
Here. Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, this thing was started.
But you know what, though? I was talking to somebody, and I was telling somebody that.
Word?
That white people. Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was telling somebody, I said I would argue, I think it was G-Check. I told him that I can have an argument, or white people have an argument, that they are the children of Israel.
Yeah.
And they have shit like you could actually back up based on scripture. I was listening to this guy, and he was going based on the blessings and curses, and he was actually showing how. It wasn't like, oh, we in slavery and oh, we were this. No, he was talking about how the nations, what they possess, what they got, what they rule, how it's divided. Yep. I was like, damn.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that shit was crazy.
That shit is wild, yo. That shit is wild.
Yeah. So I asked him. I was like, what would you? Well, I asked him, what would y'all say about that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, right? Yep. They said the central tenets of British Israelism have been refuted by evidence from modern archaeological, ethnological, genetic, and linguistic research. It says a citation needed.
Yeah. I have this one video, And who I get it from? I forgot who I got it from. Shit. But it was talking about it. To it. Let's see where you at. See, if I was on the screen share, I'd probably be able to give it to you.
I know. So I think you can screen share from here. I know. I don't got the setting on here. Screen share is only available for. Okay. All right. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. See if you can do it now.
Oh, okay.
Can you share now?
Let me see. Well. I can't. If you put the thing on, because I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone, but if you put the link in the chat, then I can click on it. I could probably screen share from there.
Okay.
Because I'm on my phone right now.
In the Facebook chat that we in. Put it in there, and I'll just open it right up.
Yeah. Put it in the Facebook.
You already did it.
Yeah. Okay, and let me just if I can get it. Let me go over here. I'm gonna go in there and get it. YouTube channel situation of my library.
Hit that like button.
No, that's why I saw it at. I think I saw it here. Let me see. Let me see if this is it right here.
United States. Second, they are very impressed.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let me see.
Okay. Fuck. All right. Sorry about that, people. That was my fault. God damn, everybody dropped off. Still buffering. You guys hear me? All right. I should be all right now. You guys hear me all right now? I think I'm good now. Power to the dark side. The goddamn power to the dark side of this goddamn. Yeah, I'm still out. I'm about to call you right back, dude. Get all this stupid shit off my screen. Fight you back. This shit up too. Yeah. You?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We good now. We live and direct.
I can hear you.
Yep. I hit Chris up too. Yeah, so you got it? You got it ready? You got it ready? ready? You not ready? I don't think you can hear me. If yeah, just call me back when you get ready. Just call me back when you get ready. All right, so this Israelism thing. Let me get back to it. Most Israelites are not Jews. Adherents believe the 12 tribes of Israel are the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, who was later named Israel. Jacob elevated the descendants of Ephraim and Manasseh, two sons of Joseph, to the status of full tribes in their own right, replacing the tribe of Joseph. Right? Descendants and all that stuff. But we're gonna get in here. We're gonna let William Cooper tell us. Oh, you can say. Oh, it's a video. That's pretty long.
And now, Pastor Comparet.
All right, I hear you. I got the link. That joint's pretty long, and so is the thing I gotta play. So we're gonna play a little bit of that after I get this one. So I'm about to play this thing now. So well, you know who William Cooper is, right? You familiar with William Cooper? Can you hear me? Hey, Rue, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. I hear you now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get into this video by William Cooper. You familiar with William Cooper, right?
No, I don't think so.
Have you heard of the book Behold the Pale Horse?
Yes, I have. That's William Cooper?
He's the author of Behold the Pale Horse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay, so he is exposing Hebrew Israelites. Now, I believe he's dead. I believe he died, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago. But here, he's talking about the British Israelites and how they're bullshit. So I'm gonna play some of this and get the show on the road. That's it.
The time, I'm William Cooper.
Please.
Once again, folks, make sure that you have pen and paper by your side, because once again, we're going to talk about something that you need to know, and something that also some people are going to find extremely controversial. Be that as it may, we're still going to talk about it. I'm tired. We took the dogs up on top of the mountain today to run and play, so I'm a little bit sore and very tired. So I hope they'll take that into consideration if I make some mistakes tonight. We're going to be discussing British Israelism, known in this country as Christian identity. It is a racist doctrine that proclaims a master race, descended from the house of David, actually farther back than that. They claim that they are the descendants of Seth, and that everybody else in the world are the descendants of Cain, and if you ain't one of them, you ain't nothing. You ain't nobody, and they don't want you around. Simple as that.
You hear that? You hear that? How many times I gotta tell you that about the black Hebrew Israelites? How many times? How many times I gotta tell y'all? Now you heard what William Cooper just said about the British ones. It's the same shit. And I believe these people like so-called Rabbi Ford, so-called Rabbi Alvin Bivens, so-called Rabbi Cherry, so-called Rabbi, what's the other dude? There's another dude too, right? Got that shit from this shit. And it talks about how these dudes used to travel the world and all this shit, like, you know what I mean? But when it took that shit and broke that shit right back over here. But he ain't talking now, dude. I'll bring him back on in a second. Just call me whenever you're ready, Hayden. But I'm gonna play a little bit more of this. So, yeah, that shit crazy as hell. Thank y'all guys for stopping by too. Hebrew, Akafo, No Saint, Sister P, Shamia, Tweezer Lamar. Is B up in here? Yeah, let me play some words. Witchfinder General, Witchfinder General, Witchfinder General, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe.
They're racist in everything that they do and say, although if you ask them about it, they will tell you that they are racialists.
See? See that? We don't hate nobody, but our God hates you. So, with that, look.
And that they really don't have any objections to other races, they just don't want to live with them. And I'm here to tell you that's the biggest bunch of BS you ever heard in your life. If these people ever came to a position of real power, by real power I mean control, they would destroy anyone who doesn't believe as they believe, who doesn't look like they look, and isn't of their race.
Look, that's the same shit I say. Is that not the same words I keep saying out my damn mouth? Is this not the same motherfucking words that keep coming out of my motherfucking mouth? Excuse the language, but damn. I keep telling y'all this. Now these is the white ones and shit. They'll do you in just like the black ones. And they in Great Britain.
Whistler Dixie here, folks. I've studied these people for a long time. I didn't even really know they existed until I started doing my radio broadcast. And all of a sudden I started getting pamphlets and books and letters of congratulations from these people who all thought for some reason that because I opposed the tyranny of those who would destroy this country, that I was somehow one of them. And when they found out that I was not, that I was part Native American, and that I was married to a Chinese woman, I got baskets full and bushels full and big boxes full of the most vicious, vile, despicable, uncouth hate mail that I ever imagined anyone could ever get in their entire life, or that ever existed. I just simply did not know that this type of thing was going on. And they even attacked my wife and children for no reason at all other than they are who they are.
See? See?
And so I thought, gee, I better find out who these...
Keep that shit 100. Keep that shit 100. Keep that shit 100 with me. You hear to me. You hear this shit coming out of his mouth. How many times y'all hear me keep saying this shit? They don't give a fuck about you. When they use politicians to speak nice about them. Like how that lady in Jersey City that worked for the Board of Ed talk about, well, we need to listen to their message. They got a good message and all this bullshit, right? No, lady, they don't give a fuck about you. If the black Jesus pop out the goddamn sky, guess what? They come to kill your ass too. With your short little afro. No, that wasn't me. But yeah, but lady, you Christian, they come get your ass too. I'm talking about the lady in Jersey City. They'll come get your ass too. Because you're not one of them. Because you're not one of them. Y'all sitting here thinking I'm fucking playing. Dead ass serious.
These people are really quick because they're dangerous. They want to destroy my children simply because they're not pure Aryan.
Hello. Hello.
Now that made me very angry. And it makes a lot of other people angry also. They claim that they are the true Israelites. Now this is the strangest claim I've ever heard in my life, ladies and gentlemen, because I've never met one of these people who speaks Hebrew, who actually celebrates the actual Hebrew holidays that the Israelites practice. They can't read Hebrew, and they mistranslate all the time. Of course, they mistranslate in their favor, but nevertheless, they mistranslate all the time. They'll take somebody else's translation and twist the meaning to mean what they want it to mean because they don't really understand the original Hebrew. They are descendants of Northern Europeans. Now, this is really easy to research, folks. Anybody can do it. You can go back and research the records of the Roman Empire when they went into Northern Europe, when they met the Celts and the Picts and the Gauls and the Teutonic tribes of Germany. These were not Hebrews, ladies and gentlemen. They were not the descendants of Hebrews at all. These were wild men. And I mean wild in every sense of the word. They went into battle stark naked, covered with clay. The Picts were famous for that. I could go on and on and on. They were steeped in nature worship. None of the original religious aspect of the Hebrews came into play with any of these tribes whatsoever. Another strange claim by these people, the British Israelites, is that they are the original progenitors, so to speak, the creators of civilization. Yet in the Middle East, in Africa, and in Asia, there were great civilizations that existed long before these people ever even learned to put a loincloth on, much less become civilized. Their answer to that is that they descended from those Eastern and Middle Eastern civilizations and that they arrived in Northern Europe by some great circuitous route of migration. That doesn't wash either, ladies and gentlemen. If you study these people, you'll find that they most probably came, and I'm talking about the Northern Europeans, they most probably, according to scientists, but you can't really trust them either. You see, they say the American Indians came to North America across a land bridge from Siberia, and they're really Mongols who who changed over a period of time and became North American Indians. What we call Indians, they're not Indians at all. They're just North Americans. But the American Indians say that that's not true. They have their own history, and they dispute that.
See that?
And modern science has a way of changing its story through the years anyway. But they say that the Northern Europeans actually migrated from India. Now, I've been to India several times in my life, ladies and gentlemen, and I haven't seen anybody in the country of India, even in the highest caste groups, that resemble Northern Europeans. Sorry, but there just isn't anybody there who has that kind of resemblance. The ancient Hebrews did not look like Northern Europeans either. Another claim made by these people is that Adam, the father of the human race, and I can't understand why they make this sort of distinction, because Adam was the father of Seth and Cain. But they claim Cain was not produced by a union between Adam and Eve, but by a union between Eve and Satan. And they claim that Cain was the offspring of that union between Eve and Satan. It's all baloney, folks. It's the biggest crock of baloney that anybody's ever spouted ever in history. One of their explanations of this is that the true son of Adam was white, and that Adam actually means blood in the cheeks. When you research that word, you'll find that that's not what it means at all. They claim that Cain was actually a dark-skinned child born of the union between Eve and Satan. There is this really gets wild, folks. It really does. And when you research this name of Adam, you find that it means no such thing. It does not mean blood in the cheeks. And it comes from a long line of myths that existed long before the Bible was ever written, or the Jews became a nation, or the Hebrews became a nation known as Israel. And I'm just going to read to you a couple of short paragraphs from the Holy Grail by Malcolm Godwin, who himself is a British Israelite.
As you see here, this cult was started with the same ideas and views. I'm going to show more of this in a second. We got Charlie Summer in the chat. He says, I dream people will wake up to Jewish supremacy and whites will get their own homeland. I'm tired of my race being blamed for Jewish crime. Huh? Wait, hold on. Oh, you're Caucasian? Or are you Jewish? So you want the white people to have their own homeland? Where do you think it should be? You think it should be back in Europe? Or they should still have the United States? I think for Jewish crimes.
but he tells the truth. And so that's what we're interested in this broadcast. He says, and I quote, "So far we have examined the historical bloodlines, but the blood which courses through the veins of the Grail myth carries with it the hint of something far more dangerous and powerful, like some dark magical ingredient which runs far deeper in ancient tunnels of the collective unconscious. We briefly glimpse the dark spring tides under the moon and the quickening of life. At the time when the Grail legends first appeared, it was generally accepted that the blood women spilled at the moon was responsible for new birth. They didn't know the biological functioning of the sexual organs or the process of the creation of a fetus in the womb. They had no idea at that time. So they believed that the blood women spilled at the moon, or their menstrual period, was responsible for new birth. Here's what he says about that. Blood which was retained in the womb was believed to coagulate into a child. Even Aristotle claimed that human life is a coagulum of menstrual blood, while the Roman Pliny, author of the Encyclopedia Natural History, insisted that it formed the material substance of generation. This curious notion was still taught in European medical schools only 200 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. Far earlier, the ancient Mesopotamian goddess Ninhursag was said to have created humankind out of clay mixed with her, quote, blood of life, end quote. The Jews, the Muslims, and the Christians borrowed this and...
You know what? I was taught the same thing. That it was like clay with a clot of blood. I don't know where that was. I think that was in Islam.
similar creation myths to form their own. Now listen to this carefully. Remember, this person is a British Israelist. And he says, quote, "Even the name Adam can be traced to the feminine Adama, Adamah, meaning bloody clay." So there you have it. And when you trace it back yourself, you'll find the same thing. Does not mean blood in the cheeks. Never did mean blood in the cheeks. Cannot mean blood in the cheeks. Now I'm going to give you the research of the Executive Intelligence Review, and this report is dated November 14, 1997. This is one of the best research organizations in the world, as far as I'm concerned. I don't particularly subscribe to their politics, but I do have great respect for their research, because I've duplicated it. Not there. They tell it like it is. And so tonight, I'm going to tell it like it is.
This is a website for British Israelism. And let's go take a look at these questions and stuff like that. New Year celebrations, pagan in origin. Simply put, the answer is yes. See? New Year celebration did originally. Same thing as Hebrew Israelites. Christ was born. When was Jesus Christ born? Was Jesus born on December 25th? Right? This will show the 25th as the date. But I guess they're going on the same day. Mixed fabrics. You know what I'm saying? How you're not supposed to wear the mixed fabrics. Mingle linen and wool. Right? Like, get on forbid women from wearing pants. Okay? I'll shoot or something. Who's aiming? Freeman from Jeremiah 10. See, it's Christmas. All this stuff is Hebrew Israelite doctrine. All this shit. There's symbolism of the cross. What does it mean? Iron sharpens iron. Those are straight Hebrew Israelite fucking little trinkets and shit. Like the whole iron sharpens iron. This is crazy. You got all your books you gotta read. Three surprising facts about angels. See? It's the same shit. Look, even saying here is a quote. Hey, Rue, you still there? Hey, Rue, you still there?
Mother.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I saw you.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. So, what do you think about all this? I gotta get to that video you got too.
Man, well, it's kind of just supporting the video that I watched called Israel's Footprint by Bradford Kuprat.
Okay.
Bertrand Kuprat. Yeah. So I don't know. You already started. I put, well, damn. When he started talking,
Yeah, man. They said, wow.
you know. So yeah, and he hit on some key points about how they don't really like. You know what I'm saying? They can say, well, they say they true Hebrew Israelites from the bloodline, but then they'll take terms and they'll make them. You know, they'll twist them to make them mean what they want them to mean. But like he said, when you go back to Adam, it don't really mean what they say it means. It actually goes back and refers to a female, and yeah. This is stuff that you can actually go look up. You can verify it.
Yeah. And the Hebrew Israelite straight swagger jack this whole doctrine, yo. Now, if you black people mostly have revelations of all this shit, why is these motherfuckers coming up with the same shit but it's applying it to other different stuff? Niggas just don't just come up with this shit.
Yeah. Yep, you're right about that.
They plagiarize this whole thing from British Israelism. Because the
That's crazy. That shit's so crazy, though.
Like, you can match it with the dates. The dates match.
Yeah.
You can't
That's
say
it.
this was created after the black Hebrew Israelites. You can't say that shit. This was created before that shit.
Right.
They was actually doing this shit overseas.
Mm-hmm.
In here.
Mm-hmm.
Way
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have this video right here?
Yep, I got it all set. All I gotta do is hit the button. It's already
Yeah.
on the screen.
You can it's a long video, but you can start out around 15 and 16 to play it. And just to give a little, and some people already seen it, but it gives historical events, social situations, and biblical scripture. And it matches all of that shit. It's what? You know what I'm saying? Just play it.
You converted?
No, I'm telling you. When you look at historical events, you look at social historical events, social situations or social events, current day in scripture that's in their Bible, that shit all synchronized.
Oh shit. So you saying the white man is God is?
What I'm telling you, well, what I'm saying is this: this white man. What I'm saying is this white man has a stronger argument to say that white people are the children of Israel, which makes sense because it's their book anyway.
Mm.
Than any Hebrew Israelite. They can say, "Oh, we black. The Hebrew Israelites were black. Look at Jesus got woolly hair, and we were in South Africa. This. Who else does this story fit? They gonna tell you about. He gonna tell you about who this story fits.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would make a good debate.
Yeah. Yeah. And he goes scripture with him. So they can't be like, oh well, he don't know, and he the white man, he's the devil. He reading the same book you read.
Yep.
He's lining it up with past events in current situation, in contemporary history, past and contemporary situation.
Dang.
No Hebrew Israelite. Only thing a Hebrew Israelite can match up today is that we're slaves. That's it. There is nothing else you can say. When we were slaves, we were shipped and we were moved here and there. That's it. That's the only ticket they got. This dude right here, this dude don't got receipts. This dude got the bank.
Damn.
He got the call cards and everything. Yeah.
Damn, you was converted.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. When first tell me when he say black, see, here's the thing, right? It's like being a Jew.
Yeah.
Anybody can be a Jew, right?
Uh-huh.
Anybody can be a Jew. You can be an Asian Jew, a black Jew, a Mexican Jew, a white Jew. Anybody can be a Jew. That's why they say black Hebrew Israelite. Them motherfuckers are converts.
Yeah. And I saw a video today of a black Hasidic Jew in Israel. He was a gangster. Mm-hmm. He was a gangster rapper from Seattle, and he moved to Israel and became like a Hasidic Jew. He wear the big old full hat, you know, the big fur hats that he wear, like the big round, like they look like big giant fur birthday cakes.
Mm-hmm.
He be wearing them shits and everything, yo. And he's a rapper out there, but he raps about like Jewish stuff. But he don't know.
But it all makes sense because there was nobody that referred to themselves as a Jew in ancient times. Mm. You know what I'm saying? So these words, every word has an etymology. Every people have a beginning.
Right.
Right? So, you know, we don't start finding out about certain words until we get into Greek and Roman, you know, history as far as how we use them today. You know, even when, I think you or Chris did a video and you talking about like Israel and all these other words, and y'all was like, man, that shit was invented in this time. Oh man, that shit was invented in this time. So, you know, I'm just looking at the information, and it's, you know what I'm saying, I don't have nothing. If a person's a Hebrew Israelite, they're Hebrew Israelite. But if the information shows different, you know what I'm saying, just because you black, ain't nobody jumping on that car, on that wagon with you, because you know, we black. Like, we got to monopolize everything, you know, regardless what it is. You know, Kemetic or Hebrew or Muslim. So, yeah.
British Hebrewism. They paved the way for the black Israelites.
I ain't never heard that shit. But, you know what? That's not surprising. White, the NAACP was organized and ran by fucking white Jews. A lot of fucking, you know, if you want to even go with the Nation of Islam, you know, Master Farad Muhammad, as they say, be respectful, peace be upon him. They say he was a white Arab or he was light skinned, whatever. And then a lot of the grassroots of some major black organization, there was a white force or white person or somebody behind it. Takes nothing from what they did. It's just what it is. You know, even with Egyptology. So what? Yeah. You still hear me? Hey, okay, hold on. I'm gonna play this while you listen. You hear me? Okay, if you can't hear me, guys, I'm gonna just play this right here. Then y'all can't see it, but listen to the video. These were unconditional promises. Those were an accurate fulfillment of the prophecies about the Jews. On the other soundtrack of this tape, we will consider in detail who are the Jews, where did they come from, what is their destiny. But for the present moment, we're still concerned with Israel. With the history of these nations in mind, let us examine God's promises and prophecies about Israel in the Bible. God's promises to Abraham were unconditional. God must fulfill them or break his word. Consider what God said in Genesis 12:2, 13 verse 16, 15 verse 5, 17 verses 4 to 7 and 19, and 22 verses 16 and 17. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant. Look now toward heaven, and count the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. God did not say that he would do this if or perhaps. These were all unconditional promises. Those promises which were made at Mount Sinai, on condition that men should obey God's laws, were the promises made through Moses relating to health, prosperity, peace, and so on. The promises to Abraham were unconditional and absolute. And in the New Testament, Paul tells us that these, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect. See Galatians 3, verse 17. If the Bible is true, if God's word is good, then these promises must be good. God repeated these promises unconditionally to Isaac in Genesis 26, verse 24. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all of these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Again, in the 28th and 35th chapters of Genesis, God repeated his promises unconditionally to Jacob, who is Israel, our ancestor. I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereof thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east, and to the north and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. There can't be any evasion of these promises, and God has always honored them.
Even when the children of Israel worshipped the golden calf while Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving the Ten Commandments, God didn't destroy them for the sake of these promises. See Exodus 32, verses 7 to 14. In many places, the New Testament recognized these promises being still in full effect. For example, in Hebrews 6, verses 13 and 17. For when God made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself, wherein God, being willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it with an oath. Again in Romans 11, verses 1 and 2, chapter 9, verses 4 and 5, and chapter 15, verse 8, Paul tells us, I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenant, and the giving of the law, and the service of God, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came. Now I say that Jesus Christ was a minister of the circumcision for the truth of God, to confirm the promises made unto the fathers. So these are the promises of God. If they are false, then the Bible is false. But if they have been fulfilled, then the people to whom they were fulfilled are thereby identified as Israel. But the separate and very different prophecies relating to the Jews show that the promises and prophecies to Israel had no reference to the Jews. Let's look at a few of them. Israel was to have a change of name, while the Jews' name was left to them as a curse. In Isaiah 65, verse 15, God tells the Jews, and we shall leave your name for a curse to my chosen. For the Lord God shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name. But who are God's servants? In many places God repeats this. But thou, Israel, art my servant. Thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. For example, see Isaiah 41, verses 8 to 10. Chapter 43, verses 1 and 10. Chapter 44, verses 1, 2, 21, and 22, and many others. This has been fulfilled. Israel is no longer called by its old name, but the Jews have retained their name for a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse, as Jeremiah 24, verse 9 says. Again, the Jews were to be known by their faces. Isaiah 3, verse 9 says, the show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin of Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. And to this day, the Jew is known by his face, and even getting his nose bobbed can't always hide it. It is a witness against him, while Israel is not so marked. Israel was to become a great nation and also a company of nations, and to be a nation forever, and to have a king forever. See Genesis 35, verse 11. Jeremiah 31, verses 35 to 37, and chapter 33, verse 17. Psalm 89, verses 3 and 4. 2 Samuel 7, verses 13 to 16. Isaiah 9, verse 7. Luke 1, verses 32 and 30. And Israel has fulfilled all of this, as we shall see. God said that the Jews were to be destroyed as a nation, and to become scattered outcasts in all lands. In the 18th chapter of Jeremiah, God used the parable of the potter making a clay bottle on the potter's wheel, and on the first trial, the bottle was spoiled. So the potter mashed it back into a lump and tried again. And on the second trial, he made a perfect bottle. God said that he would remake it, be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their earth, to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse, in all the places whither I shall drive them. In fulfillment of this, after the 70 weeks, or 490 years of Daniel 9, verse 24, were completed, Titus, the Roman general, destroyed Jerusalem in AD 70, and the Jews were broken as a nation and have had no king of their own. In John 19, verse 15, they spoke truly, "We have no king but Caesar." Israel, on the other hand, was to become a very numerous people. Besides the many statements of this in Genesis chapters 13, 15, 22, 16, 20, and a third part shall fall with the sword round about thee, and I will scatter a third part unto all the winds, and I will draw the sword after them. See also Jeremiah, stars of the heavens are as the sand which is upon the seashore, for numbers. For another thing, Israel was to become blind to its identity. In Romans 11, verse 25, Paul comments that blind as the beloved apostle John. Between the two world wars, the former British intake, we will see who the Jews are.
Okay, here we go. That was just kind of a backflip of everything. Now let's see what they're really talking about. Who is he identifying as Israel? Who is he identifying as a Jew?
Paul said, "He that hateth me, hateth my Father also." The Jews do not fulfill any of the principal prophecies concerning Israel. Therefore, the Jews are not Israel. On the other soundtrack of this tape, we will see who the Jews are. But does Israel exist today? Or has God violated all of his promises? Yes, Israel exists today, for the Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, and Germanic peoples have received the fulfillment of God's promises and prophecies. First, they are a great nation and a company of nations, all of the same race. The United States is the largest civilized nation in the world. Its population is exceeded only by China, India, and Russia. It is the richest, the most advanced, the most benevolent in its policies, and has the greatest degree of liberty of any large nation. Between the two world wars, the former British Empire was officially reorganized into the British Commonwealth of Nations. Canada and Australia are independent nations. The Scandinavian and Germanic nations are of the same blood, have largely the same customs, and can be identified historically as the peoples who furnished most of the population of the British Isles and its colonies and the United States. Second, they are very numerous, as the prophecy said Israel would be. In the last 2 centuries, the population of the United States has increased from a mere handful to over 180 million. Of whom about 140 million are white Christians of Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, or Germanic stock. In the last 3 centuries, the population of the British Isles and their colonies of Canada and Australia and New Zealand increased from about 5 million to over 70 million Anglo-Saxons. The nations of Germany, Austria, Holland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland add about 96 million more. So the total number of the Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, and Germanic peoples is well over 300 million. Third, they are a maritime people. Of the descendants of Israel, Numbers 24, verse 7 prophesied, "His seed shall be in many waters." And in Psalm 89, verse 25, it says, "I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers." Today, the world's greatest navies are those of the United States and Britain, and the 3 greatest merchant marine fleets are those of the United States, Britain, and Norway. Fourth, they are the greatest military powers. Jeremiah 51, verse 20 is God's word. "Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms." Throughout history, this has been true. 2 centuries after being taken captive by Assyria, the peoples of Israel, who were then generally known as Scythians, had bled Assyria white by their constant warfare against it, so that Assyria was an easy pushover victory for the Medes and Persians just before they turned their attention to Babylon. It was the Israel tribes on their march into Europe, being then called the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Vandals.
So that's what you got so far, and I can keep playing it, but this is a good video. If anybody want to watch it and compare it to what he's saying, compare it to history, validate everything he's saying, and you will see that, like I said, I don't believe in none of this shit. I think it's somebody that's writing the story for themselves. But when you start talking about who are the Israelites, they got an argument. They got a very, very strong argument on this narrative. But hey, you do the work for yourself and compare for yourself. Killah B, you still there? Oh, Killah B must not be there. So we just get this information in. Since I was with Killah B, I'm gonna play a little bit more of it.
To crush the Roman Empire. The peoples of Anglo-Saxon Israel defeated Russia under the Tsars, destroyed the great empires of Spain and Japan, and conquered Turkey and Italy. Not without heavy cost, of course, for the promises of easy victory were among the promises made through Moses, and these were conditional upon keeping the law. But the promise of final victory is so great that the enemy is shattered, even though the cost be heavy. This promise is unconditional, and it has been consistently fulfilled to only one people, those whom we identify as Israel. First, they possess the gates of their enemies. You will remember that this was one of God's promises, which we found in Genesis 22, verse 17. Obviously, this doesn't mean a wooden gate in some person's front yard, but the gateways of hostile nations, the great waterways of the world. Consider the fact that the Anglo-Saxon nations, and they alone, have power to close every important water gate in the world. American and British fleets based in Scotland, the Orkney Islands, Gibraltar, Malta, Aden, Cape Town, in Australia, Singapore, the Philippines, Hawaii, San Francisco, Puget Sound, Panama, the Falkland Islands, Hampton Roads, and Iceland. These dominate and can close the Skagerrak, the Baltic Sea, the North Sea, the English Channel, the Straits of Gibraltar, the Mediterranean, the Suez Canal, the Indian Ocean, the waters around Southeast Asia and the east coast of Asia, the coasts of Africa and around the Cape of Good Hope, the coasts of North and South America, the Straits of Magellan and around Cape Horn, and all trade routes across the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. And they have proved this by actually doing it in 2 world wars. 6. They possess the desolate heritages of the earth. In Isaiah 49, verse 8, God says, "Thus saith the Lord, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages." No one else has so successfully developed the colonies, which were desolate when they were first occupied, as have these people. Compare what the United States has done in its southwestern states with Mexico. Similar land, with fully as great undeveloped riches, and separated from us by only an imaginary line. Compare British Africa with the African colonies of all other nations, and especially compare it with the dismal savagery of the Negroes. Compare the development of Palestine and Iraq while under British rule. Compare this with Turkey, Arabia, Iran, and so forth. 7. They have expanded in colonies in all directions. Deuteronomy 3, verse 8 says, "When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel." Genesis 28, verse 14 says, "Thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east, and to the north and to the south, and in thee and in..."
Okay. So here at the Witchfinder General's channel, Killah B, I would like for any people to take this video for Trent Complex and break down what he's saying and show exactly where he's wrong at and how you fit the same prophecies or narratives that he's given. Because I know that you talk about the curses, but he's also talking about curses and he's also talking about blessings. And it sounds like, based on the narrative, it sounds like a person who wrote the book. So we go end it right here on the Witchfinder General. Killah B. Like, share, subscribe. All day information brought to you 24 hours. If you got a witch, he'll burn their ass up. We'll leave it at that. Y'all take it easy. Hotepu, peace.
a doubt, black. Without a doubt. Oh. Y'all see that? See that? Israelites going through anything and everything. Yeah. Oh, so that was all that was in the chat about not being Mm-hmm. doing the goddamn views. We're gonna see tonight. We're gonna see tonight. Yep. Man. Whole ancient Hebrew Israelite. Witchfinder. And they got nothing. They asked for the proof, and what happened? They got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, right? I'm about to close this up. I'm getting tired. So I'm gonna fall asleep. Yeah, so thank you, Pete. Everybody know. Alright, I'm gonna pay someone that was on video. After that, I'm gonna close it up.
Bertrand L. Comparet, and I want to talk to you about Israel's fingerprints. The Bible is written about and addressed to God's people Israel. It is the history of their past, the prophecy of their future, the law of their relation to their God, and the promise of God's eternal care for them. The common misconception that the Jews are Israel, or all that remains of them, has made the Bible meaningless and most of it apparently false to those who hold this mistaken belief. It is just as though you took a good history of the United States, but wherever the name United States appeared therein, you erased it and wrote China in its place. As a history of China, it would be obviously false, but if you applied it to the right nation, it would be clearly true. The Bible's history of Israel's past is known to be accurate, and its prophecies of Israel's future have been fulfilled in every detail, down to the present day. When the police have the fingerprints of a wanted man, they know that the man whose fingerprints match those they have is the man they seek. Likewise, when we find the people to whom God has fulfilled all of his promises and prophecies to Israel, we have found Israel. Today, the Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, and Germanic nations have Israel's fingerprints in every detail. When we realize that we are Israel, the Bible becomes full of meaning for us. It is our history. It contains God's promises to us. It gives us courage to face the terrible upheaval into which all the world is being drawn. If you will only read the Bible with an open mind, taking no man's word for it, but proving for yourself what the Bible says, Then, comparing that with what you know of present-day history, you will see that we are God's people Israel, and that, however terrible the trial ahead, we will be brought safely through it when we turn to God. First, let us briefly review the ancient history of Israel. God first made his promises of wonderful blessings to Abram, changing his name to Abraham, meaning father of nations. Note that this is in the plural, nations. God repeated his promises to Abraham's son, Isaac, and again to Isaac's son, Jacob, whose name God changed to Israel, which means he will rule with God. Israel had 12 sons. The descendants of each son became in time a tribe under its ancestor's name. Thus all the descendants of Dan became the tribe of Dan. All the descendants of Benjamin became the tribe of Benjamin, and so forth. For many centuries, all members of all the 12 tribes collectively were known as the children, that is, descendants of Israel. However, do not confuse this with the later house or kingdom of Israel, about which I will have more to say later. Israel and his 12 sons with their families went into Egypt, as you will remember, and after about 2.5 centuries, their descendants left Egypt in the Exodus under the leadership of Moses. For several generations, they were ruled by judges appointed by God. Later, they unwisely copied the customs of the surrounding nations and demanded a king. So Saul became their first king, ruling the 12 tribes as a single nation. This unified nation of 12 tribes, like the United States of 50 states, continued until the death of Solomon in 975 BC, when it broke into 2 nations, Israel and Judah. 1 Kings, chapters 11 and 12, tell us how Solomon finally fell into idolatry, misgoverned the people, and burdened them with excessive taxes. Yes, they babbled about new deals and new horizons in those days, too. When his son Rehoboam succeeded Solomon as king in 975 BC, the weary people petitioned him to ease their burdens. But being vain and arrogant, and surrounded by a lot of bright young Jewish advisors, even as today, he threatened to make their load heavier. The exasperated people of the 10 northern tribes revolted and set up their own independent kingdom under Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which is told in detail in 1 Kings chapters 11 and 12 and 2 Chronicles chapters 10 and 11. Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, had left in his kingdom only the 2 southern tribes, Judah and Benjamin, with most of the Levites, who were the priests. And this southern kingdom was never thereafter known as Israel, but only as the house or kingdom of Judah. The northern 10-tribed kingdom was thereafter called the house or kingdom of Israel. Just as the southern kingdom, Judah, took its name from the tribe of Judah, which was the ruling tribe, so also the northern kingdom of Israel was sometimes called Ephraim in the prophecies, because the tribe of Ephraim was the most powerful tribe in it. The histories and destinies of the 2 kingdoms were thereafter separate. They engaged separately in foreign wars and treaties, and were sometimes at war with each other, as the books of Kings and Chronicles record. From the time of this separation, 975 BC, the Bible very carefully distinguishes between the southern 2-tribe nation of Judah and the northern 10-tribe nation of Israel. This distinction is kept clear both in the historical record of what is past and the prophetic record of what is to come. It would take me all day to cover them all, but for a few examples, see the following. The distinction is made, historically, in 2 Samuel 19, verses 40 to 43, 1 Kings 14, verses 19 to 21, chapter 15, verses 1 to 33, chapter 16, verse 8, 2 Kings, chapter 3, verses 1 to 9, 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 1, chapter 5, verses 5 to 10, and many others. The distinction is kept clear in prophecies in Isaiah 7, verses 1 to 17, chapter 11, verses 12 and 13, Jeremiah 3, verses 6 to 18, chapter 5, verse 11, chapter 11, verses 10 to 17, chapter 13, verse 11, chapter 18, verses 1 to 6, chapter 19, verses 1 to 13, Ezekiel 37, verses 16 to 22, Daniel 9, verse 7, Hosea 1, verse 11, and chapter 4, verse 15, and chapter 5, verses 9.
But you guys see my point. So that, before I run out of gas completely, get out of here. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Killah B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. Make sure you hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe. So, yeah, yup. Oh, so I did those off? Oh, shit. Yeah, let me get the fuck out of here. Thanks everybody for stopping by. This Killah B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. So I'm gonna head on out.
You real Steph, I'm gonna put you on stage.
Why don't you do this part right here over for me one more time here?
What part?
Yeah, just take that right there.
No,
Act like my man takes my
no.
seat right there. Do this for me one more time.
Word. It's your brother Ja. Welcoming y'all to the event feature. All praises to Yah. Take time away and travel your galaxy. Cut off positions you intend to take. When you return, it's tragedy. Weaken the wicked with a well-placed stone. No need to fortify. My abyss absorbs your home, your zone, your clones, where you roam, and your brightness, and your robots who appear in my likeness. All praise to His Highness. Melt you, King Midas. Assemble troops like Titus. Hold it my dust. Our rust is reformed into the dust to which sons are born. So ill your temple liquefies. Mind Jim, watch Loki dematerialize. Spiritualize the earth to crush flatbreads. Locks of death is what the crap says. They don't know how owned. They got con to shaving short. Oh, what a saving sport. Word into your dimensions port. Come find out why I'm TK. Telekinesis thesis reaches out in this way. The truth and the life in my sight. Build altars and view starlight. Demolish altars who want to fight. Then bow before Malak as a dot. He warned me of sorcerer cops who beard chop and sell poison crops. Watch, I kill my own self before the heart. My degree is enterprise chart. Enter eyes like gleam off a sword. Set on fire, you're my Ali Lord. Sun Tzu gave me that. Then plundered the map over ravines, down the creek. Horses and streams. Nordic me has a woolly coat. Saw Jab fight, taught him to throw a rope. Too many drown in brooks, lose hope. I realize I'm sober. My self-knower is a soldier who told me he is the torch, smolder. Then reap the field and do it backwards. That is, reap the field and smolder. The torch is he who told. Y'all crash like Steve McQueen. Elizabeth on your money team. Killer priest, traverse dreams. Sniper warnings of killer bees. Oh, about that situation. Switching hand placement. Grandma, since ancient, she give thanks and tell you about Joseph. Told them to wait outside in this. Your Yaakov gotta be about father business. Share it as the meek shall inherit. Cats didn't listen when I told them I prepare it. Loops of the swift chariot. Elisha marriage, chock full of despair. And when Jah returned, he dipped water and burned. My time frames have sharp corners that stab box heads and joiners. Corners out of the board show examples to the students. Orcas in the hordes forced to swim through sewage. Goddamn, your words are challenging. Wearing gifts you was lavishing, looking dashing. as the crowd's grabbing. Rope chains, bangles, and body kicks. Hoodies with rose gold zips. Woolly butter leather matching gloves. Women on the tether cause she loves. Bless y'all who can make the journey. Guard and glowing, ask your attorney. Servants with broke heads on gurneys. Youth and pre-sales learning. Desire burning as elders churning. Then she give you a bit to taste. See how the hard work put a shine to your face. To your face, far from the wrath of grapes. Or the Farsi hate, or the Essene fakes. End up in a mean gene place. From heights view a major gift. Y'all more confused than fans of Taylor Swift. Time to time, take a split. Show how much you know when I'm found relaxed in a Gondor bungalow. Sister bro, oh.
I don't believe these people, man. They fronting on me after all the business I done gave them, man. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Sneaker Genius, we're over here trying to rehearse.
Rehearse?
Yes.
Why don't you put a little rap in it like my man
The
did?
time's at hand, exposed corpse from the sand. We ruled the land and it sprout great food. Nobody wants to lose, nor is it something you choose. But niggas be on Tom Cruise. Some whack actors who promote bachelors, not even listening when I ask you. Take lessons from the older rap groups. My meditations rock the nations. Hurt your stomach like the smell of bacon. Out with a mason and eat up they snakes. Seem too easy and you go astray. How much time do we have to wait to pray before the hunger pains lead the way? Seeing Kana burn his own face. That's what you get when holiness misplaced. Duck-faced devils claim pyramids where octagons get inked like squid. Know where I live, where Pegasus is. Best to miss when the bones grate. Sloan taste like Bueller in case. Myths hate my blade break. Put you to the burning gate. Alive and well, living action do tell. Smooth as rails, especially when Henry finished. My rhyme scheme is called Do Not Diminish. While youth remain timid, sandbar to sandlot. Football stars caught. More Zartan than red knot. Change colors under warm water. Bathtubs, she used expensive scrubs for daughters. Catch you like the last pass. Snagged on grass, had to move fast in the face of the siren's blast. Yet sit here in this task. Round up mutants like Boulevard trash. Same date, do not crash. Munch you down like corned beef hash. Burglars weren't up to task. Ask share about math. Expect response craft. Understanding the past. Facing Yahweh.